How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video in our ServiceAI onboarding series. In this video, we're going to be looking at the AI Chat Sandbox and really figuring out how ServiceAI takes your information and structures it to help your technicians get to their answers fast, accurately, and reliably. In the last video, hopefully we've set up our ServiceAI tenant. You were able to log in, connect your PSA and article system, maybe invite a team member or two, and kick off a little bit of a backsync just to get some data locked in here. So it should look pretty similar to what I have on screen. Now, for the sake of this video, we're going to go straight to the AI Chat Sandbox and talk about what it does and how we can use it. This is fundamentally your safe lab, where you're going to benchmark how the AI behaves based off what we've gotten. Again, especially in this case, garbage in, garbage out. So the better your notes, the better your articles, the better the AI is going to behave. So this is not only a place where we can test it, which is what we'll do in this video, but also a place where we can show and figure out how to improve it most effectively. And we'll generate an article and see how that affects our output. So again, this is a place to experiment, ask questions, and figure out if you like it. And then later on in a different video, I'll show you even how to modify the responses so that the tone and the format is exactly the way you want it. So what I'll do right here is I will ask it a prompt, a very simple one about a Dell Wi-Fi not connecting, Dell laptop not connecting to Wi-Fi. And what we're going to see is that it's going to scour the related articles and tickets and try to get me an answer. Now, again, based off the information I've connected, it's going to not only give me that response right here, where it's going to, again, look for what it has available to it and showcase it. And if it doesn't have absolutely anything available, it will use web search to try to figure out how it can help. So in this case, yes, it gave me a response. And in theory, I could take this and use it in a ticket, or treat it kind of like any AI, like a chat GPT, and ask it further clarifying questions. But what I want to focus on is how it arrived at this conclusion to make sure that it's understanding the data we've given it. So what we're going to focus on first is the related tickets and articles section. Based on what we've fed it, it's going to try to look at those information bits and correlate them with confidence percentages to the response it gave. So you can literally see its thought process and what it looked at as the best possible match. Now in this case, nothing came up super strong. There's been some mentions of these Wi-Fi issues, but nothing that really nails it. So it's found the related articles. It's also assessed its own response, and it's going to come back with either very strong, like it believes that the response is very accurate, partially accurate, or not accurate at all. And if it comes back with a partial or a no, it's going to suggest that you improve it. Now, how do you do that? You could either tell your technicians or whoever's actually working the tickets to list very specific processes in their ticket bodies, which maybe they will do, maybe they won't do. An easier, very, very quick way to get this working really fast, really accurately, is to supplement missing insights with AI documentation. So you can literally see that it's suggesting to you that, hey, if I had an article called a Dell Wi-Fi troubleshooting guide, I'd be able to give better responses. And as I do that, I'm also going to reference other things we've seen to make sure that that article is as comprehensive and as useful as possible. So let's click that Generate Article button. Now, you have full control here, so you could change the prompt to title it whatever you want, to add in additional bits, make it more comprehensive, say not just Dell, but Macs and Windows PCs in general. But you don't have to. It's just going to generally take that information and try to figure out its best approach to making that documentation for you. And if you're very particular and it's maybe a more proprietary thing that's not super well documented, not easily found online, you can even feed it source URLs. So as I generate this article, what we're going to see is it's going to put that together, and we're going to take this information it gives us and rerun this prompt and see what it comes back with to see if it's any better. Now, you have full control over the AI generated articles, meaning that you can come in here and add notes or delete stuff that you don't think is quite right, however you like. And as we go ahead and do this, we can add it back to the KB. And we'll talk more about documentation, how it works throughout different videos. This is not going to be the full documentation coverage, but as I add it to the KB and add it to the internal brain, what we're fundamentally doing is teaching ServiceAI how to handle a situation like this, which is super important to making sure that the information it gives is accurate, useful, and just really good. So let's go ahead and add it to the knowledge base. It's going to get added in. It'll take us straight to the knowledge base area. where it will in fact show us the documented article. It'll also show us things like whether there is an overlap with other documentation to make sure we're not stepping on ourselves writing the same document over and over again, and obviously the spot where you can see the article and even rewrite it. So if I go back to that chat sandbox, I can punch in that same prompt, or I can always review the chat history of previous prompts I've ran. I can click on the one I just did, and we can actually rerun that question by using the blue arrow here. So as I do this, what we're expecting to see is that it comes back much stronger in the response assessment, and we want to see that related article that we just wrote pop up to the top as our top choice. And we're seeing that. We're seeing now that it's not your generic restart your Wi-Fi or whatever have you. It's very specific to the issues that happen for this Dell issue. And again, we're seeing that linkage happen directly with that correlated article. So super awesome way to improve AI results. And really what you're aiming to do at this stage is just to make sure that you're seeing that correlation between your information and what the AI is using. Because again, the better this is, the faster, better, and more effective your technicians are, because they don't have to scour hundreds, if not thousands of articles and certainly thousands of tickets to find the best answers. What's really awesome about this as well is that if you've connected an article system, say IT Glue or Hoodoo or Cloud Radial, a lot of times what will happen is you have these different companies that have proprietary articles for them. So in this case, for example, we have this Epson driver article for Azurative technology. Now, why does that matter? What happens in the chat sandbox when you click it like we just did is it's looking at all the publicly available and kind of generic information, stuff that isn't specific to a specific company. If I go to the generic sandbox and ask it, let's say, what information do you have about Azurative Technologies Epson printer? I expect this not to show up in any related article. Why is that? Well, again, it's not privy to that information in a generic question. So you can see that it will respond, but it won't necessarily say that one Epson article that we saw that clearly exists inside of the article section. If I go to a specific company and you want to really test the sandbox, you can click on a specific company like I have here. And even in the individual companies, you can actually do an AI chat, which will do a sandbox specifically for that company. So if I ask the same thing, what's the deal with the Epson driver? What I'm expecting it to do is showcase that it has a linkage to that specific article. Now in this case, I have that Epson article, and it's specifically to Azurative Technology, and it's actually given me the link because that article, it turns out, is just an exe. So I click it and it's actually going to download it directly. So all this to say, as you first set up the data, play with the sandbox to get a feel for how that linkage between the information you've given it is versus what it's outputting, and figure out at first, basically get a feel for how much documentation you think you might need to create, whether this is going to be an as-you-go project or something you want to dedicate some time to. In the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how to take this exact process and make it part of your technician's workflow. For Autotask and ConnectWise, we're going to show you how to put that inside of the respective PSAs, so you can actually generate and look at these answers right there and have like a chat GPT that technicians can talk to in their pods and insights. And if you don't have a supported PSA that has those, like Halo or BMS or Synchro, I'll show you how the workflow works, that you can use the chat sandbox to analyze tickets by specific numbers to generate the same response. So how technicians can get that workflow feel and use those responses to facilitate their work. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you for the next one.